Okay. All right, guys. We are here, and I wanted to do a quick study on something that I've been looking over. I was actually looking over some stuff about positions for a student that I'm coaching, and for a possible fight. Um, for those that don't know, my name is Wukong Wilson, Xavier Wukong Wilson, and I'm a professional fighter and amateur Street Fighter 6 player that will become professional. And I've got some mentors behind me that are helping me develop both boxing and Street Fighter um, tactics, strategy, verbiage, and several others. Among them probably are my top guys is Kaizen Master for Street Fighter and Barry Robinson for boxing. Both of them have helped me a lot to get to this point where I'm going to study something that I saw that was really, really cool. Now, first thing I want to say, I'm not really so much focused on punches. I don't like to focus on that because that's kind of like if you're playing a chess game, you're focusing on taking the pieces. It's like, that's definitely not what you need to focus on. What you need to focus on is what position are you in, right? What position are you in? So I got some things to look at. First thing is I have Canelo versus Plant. You see this video? Here, let me rewind it. I did cut the video a little bit, and I put out some. I pointed out. I'm going to point out some important parts. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Okay. Here.
Canelo Alvarez, and we've talked about it, is not a Kickstarter. So if Caleb Plant is going to make something happen, he needs to do it in these early rounds early.
All right, so that little section right there, I want to talk about that, and the reason why is because, and you could even hear the announcer say if he's going to do something, he needs to do it earlier, right? He needs to do it early, and he's absolutely right. If you watch Canelo in this beginning clip, we're going to watch it one more time. You watch Canelo in this beginning clip, you might think, oh, nothing's happening, blah, blah. When Plant throws his jab, he has an opportunity to gain a good position, and that's in the middle of the ring. You guys see the middle of the ring? They're both kind of in the middle of the ring here. Now, I want you to watch this and watch what Plant does after he throws his jab, and then watch what Canelo does after he catches the jab on his gloves. One thing I want to mention is at this point, Canelo has caught the jab, in this clip, with both of his arms, like this. And that, in my opinion, is one of the worst things he could possibly do. So yes, this was an opportunity for Plant to capitalize on this mistake, right? Because when you block one punch with both arms, you're occupying both of your arms that you can use to stop one of his arms. He still has one arm on you. Like, this is a terrible option, mathematically. But, tactically, a lot of times you get away with it. Things like that will happen. So, let's watch it one more time. Just open your eyes to the positions.
Canelo Alvarez, and we've talked about it, is not a Kickstarter. So if Caleb Plant is going to make something happen, he needs to do it in these early rounds early.
That last one, you saw his hand come here, right? That's a position that is very important because this is a high guard, right? This position right here, I call this a closed guard. Call it closed guard because I have another stance. Is this one right here, which is a normal fighting stance, right? I'm here, okay, cool. Now, once I take this front hand, which is my front guard, I call this a front guard position. I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna bring it back, and then I'm gonna try to catch the jab with this one, or just keep it here. You're gonna see this position a couple of times from both fighters. So let's watch.
Yes, he definitely wants to back into the early rounds, like you mentioned. Canelo's not, and he's not going to be able to let his hands go. Plant so far.
Right there, this is a position that Plant. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it's something. Like no move is necessarily good or bad, but it is something. It's a move. So this is this is the really cool part of this. I love this part. So, Plant, if you saw him right here, he tried to turn Canelo by using, right here, using his elbow with his right hand, right? But before he did that, he ducked a little bit. Watch. I just
let his hands go with Plant's over.
Actually, I'm sorry, he didn't duck on this one. He ducks later. But the point is, he's trying to control him with that hand, right? And then he moves to the right. Okay.
So far, doing a good.
So here you see Canelo with a high guard, right? Really high guard, and then he'll probably go into a closed guard here.
There's no question about this crowd.
Jab to the body. Oh, I know. The reason I wanted to show this clip is there's a big difference between what Canelo is doing now, because once he turned him, and after that, Canelo said, "Oh, I see you're doing something. Here's the thing you're doing. You're trying to turn me. So next time you're trying to turn me, let's see what happens." But in this, his reaction to the jab is, "I'm gonna stay right here." He didn't back up and bounce. He didn't do anything like that. He got jabbed in the stomach. He got jabbed at the top, and he caught that, and he stayed right there. Look at this.
There's no question about this crowd being into this fight.
You saw him catch the jab.
Being into this fight. There's no question about this crowd being into.
Catch the jab with the right hand. You saw a little sneak over there, right? That's important. You can't just hold your hands up here and walk in like a mummy. All right, they're gonna beat your guard. They're gonna turn you around like Caleb Plant will do, and they're gonna knock you out. So you have to keep in mind an active high guard is absolutely necessary, but also, what position are you in? So again, we still have a closed guard, and then Canelo kind of shows a little bit different guards here. He just kind of drops his hand.
See, that's Canelo.
Known for his jab, known for his quickness.
Here, we obviously just saw him try it again. Turn him again, right?
For his quickness, known for his footwork.
He didn't let him do it. Look at him. Look. He's looking at him. He said, "Yep, caught you." He said, "Caught you." Look at his eyes. He's looking right at him. He said, "I got you trying to turn me again." Right? That's right.
Good moment.
Floyd Money Mayweather.
Ooh. As soon as he stepped in, look at how close Plant is to the corner. Mr. Tall Man over here is very close to the corner. And what he probably should do is get out of the corner. And one of the best ways to do it is to control their arms as you're getting out of the corner. Just like he did before. But he's already shown his trick 2 times. So, let's see what happens.
Floyd Money Mayweather. There's only loss.
Canelo's gonna create space and control his head and say, "Get on the ground, right, and crawl." He said, "Get on the ground and crawl. Stay down there, right." This is very interesting. All that. Here is where I feel that Plant made a critical mistake. This is when he started changing levels. So watch. It becomes to a point where he... By the way, this whole round, Canelo's just stalking him. After he sees him turn that first time, you notice he started stalking him real hard. So now, he stalked him a couple times now, and he got him in that real uncomfortable position with his front guard. He went from closed guard, right? Closed guard to front guard, right? And that front guard was very uncomfortable. He was pinning his hand down. He was pinning his head down, and just a bad position. Anyway,
Using his jab.
now we see him open right into the front guard and hold his head right over here, and
Trying to make that.
ooh, and that was cleaner than people think. That was quick. It was a quick one. That was cleaner than people think.
Jab. Trying to make that.
There's that one.
I didn't hurt that
Yeah,
much, but
see the jab.
every punch hurts, okay? And the whole point of it is not necessarily the punches, it's the success and the control of the situation. He had a success by putting him in a bad place, and then he got a control of the situation. My dog's about to bark. Stop it, newbie. Don't do it. Make good choices today. So, we're going to watch him again. He cut him off here again. You see him?
He's got a jab fast. Bring it right.
Okay, you see, look at the closed guard. Look at the closed guard. Look at his front hand come right to his temple. Right?
Bring it right back up. He brings it back down. And Canelo, he's showing with the right hand.
That is one of my favorite moves right there. When you come from a closed guard and then you, boom, you rip that hook. I use the rattan ring, which is a martial arts tool. It's just a wooden ring, and I use that to create these positions. But also, it helps you morph into the other positions and see what kind of punches you have. I don't have my rattan ring in here, but I do have some pictures here. I'll show you. I'll try to show you. Okay, so look, that's binding guard. We're not talking about binding guard right now. That's front guard. That's with one hand in the front, right? One hand in the back. Okay, and then we have close guard, right? That front hand, that front hand comes back, and the rear hand is catching the jab. That is the position that we are seeing happen here. Now, because we have that, we have this quantified data. We can use that and say see what's probably going to happen. So let's watch some more of this body. By the way, he hit him to the body pretty hard there, and that became a theme of this fight. That's how this fight ended up. Anyway, we had him again go for a close guard position. Look at his front hand. I mean his rear. His front hand is rear hand. You see this? And then he's gonna catch. Right? He touched him with the front hand, and he comes directly into a hook to the body. And then immediately after he lands that punch, does he bring his hand back to his face? No, he doesn't. Barry Robinson will tell you it's not always the best thing to do. Sometimes you gotta hit him and put your hands on him. George Foreman said what's the best thing you can do when you throw a punch, or if you miss the target, whatever it is, put your hands on him. In this case, he actually hit the target, and then he puts his hands directly on him.
Functioning well in this first.
Now, the biggest thing about that clip, about that last clip there, let me get to is Plant made an adjustment. Okay, so he made an adjustment. He stood up. He got tall again, right? And he stood up. Hold on. I gotta turn this one off. There we go. He stood up, right? Instead of staying down here, he stood up and he tried to hit him with the right hand. He did hit him with the right hand. That was his counter to that position. Now you gotta think about it. He got put in a bad position because he did something. So he essentially put himself in a bad position. Canelo just is showing it to him. And then he's going to try to turn that bad position into a good position. When he probably should, just fight from a better position. Like, let's fight tall. You're taller than Canelo. Fight tall, right? Anyway, we're not talking about that fight specifically. I'm talking about these positions. And the important things that come from studying this position. So let's go to the other video I have lined up for us here. Okay, so I have Charlo versus Castano 2, and Charlo came back to fight this guy in a rematch. And let's watch now. Position wise, we have Charlo in a front to closed guard, front guard to closed guard, front guard to closed guard, right? See this open, front, and then he closes there and he touches, right? And then, so I started the recording at this point specifically because his front guard it doesn't always serve a purpose. He has a good jab, and he's a very strong fighter. Charlo's a very strong man. That's great. But it doesn't necessarily always serve a purpose here. So he throws his hard jab, right? And we see Castano go low, and he's going to close the distance. Now, this distance is very critical. So we see how he turned. As soon as he did that, you see how he came to kind of a cross-arm position? It's like a Philly shell almost. That is important. You see that little Philly shell? That's important. He does that again later. He doesn't always do that. But the thing is that, and even the commentators, if you watch this fight, the commentators commented, and they said Charlo has a habit of dropping his left hand when he backs out. And he goes into a shell position as he backs out. But I don't think it's so much a purposeful move as much as it is a habit. So he dips to the right. He comes here. Yeah, I didn't love this interaction with him. So I'm watching here, and he comes back to a shell, and then he brings his hand up, for close guard, right? So there, he comes with a close guard. He's really just trying to throw, right? But he's trying to set up the body shot. He did it from a close guard position with his head down. So he's fighting a little short. And we saw what happened last time somebody fought short against Canelo. I don't think it's a good idea. You should fight tall against him. And so he got caught here. And when he gets caught, he goes under no guard. A little frustrating to watch. It was a little sloppy here, and that's gonna happen because fights aren't clean. That like it's gonna get sloppy and stuff. But the frustrating part of it is just not capitalizing on the position. You see how he was all out of position. So this is like the first round. So let's be nice. Let's be nice to about the judgment. There's no judgment anyway. It's just you're interacting. So we still have a front guard here. But I don't see... And by the way, I'm sorry. The reason why I pointed out the front guard is that he has a front guard, but is it serving a purpose? Because he's still getting stalked. He's still getting walked around the ring right now by Castano. Okay, so I saw him change the distance there. I saw him duck and change the distance because he's being pressured. And it came from across a shell position. A shell, right? Boom, boom, boom. The story is there. It's already there. We already saw what Canelo will do against that. So we got Castano in a high guard, pushing forward. He lands a little bit. So this is where the dog comes out, right? This is what everybody calls the dog. It's for the dogs, doghouse, right? Watch Charlo. He steps in with a hook to the body. He puts his hands up in a high guard. He goes to the body again and bulls him out. And he stands up into a closed guard position with his hands up. Okay, so I don't necessarily see a good advantage. I see the advantage that he moved forward and he landed the shot, and that's good. But the guy just walked right back up to him, and he didn't really do much about it. So yeah, he jabbed, threw a right hand to the body. He's still getting walked backwards. Right? Ooh, right there. Look at that look that he gave him. Look at the triple look that he gave him. Look at the minuscule closed guard, right? Like the lead hand is coming up and the right hand is waiting for that jab to come so that he can catch it and do something, right? And it's oh my gosh. I'm sorry. I get too excited. As soon as he threw that, the closed guard position allows for a beautiful, immediate, snappy counter. Look at this. Ugh. And if you look at Charlo's follow-up got blocked. I'm going to figure out how to do all this in slow-mo, guys. So here, he hit him with the hook, and he still maintained kind of a front guard, right, to control his head. And because he controlled his head and had his head down so far, he was able to kind of like shrug off that right hand that hit on the top with his shoulder because of the position. Positions, guys, positions. Again here, no specific guard. Nothing really happening here that I loved. I didn't love what was happening there. So then we go into the second round. So I wanted to see how this developed, and things got a little bit ugly. So you see, Castano is setting him up with a high guard, and he's trying to counter the jab and fight forward, and that's a good thing. He's moving forward. Now Charlo, he's fighting in a little bit of he's not. That's the thing. He's not really fighting in a circle. He's disengaging in a circle. Right here, he should be fighting in a circle. He disengaged, okay, and he goes to the body, and he jabs and he fights in a straight line here, jab, right. If you just go jab for jab with Charlo, he's gonna take one step back. So he's crossing his feet over here. Just to walk him out, and there it is. So that's what I wanted to show in this second round. Is it got ugly with the when he found himself in the same position that Plant was in. By the way, same position that Plant was in, getting towards the corner, getting stalked in this position he doesn't want to be. So he wants to disengage. So he changes levels, closes the distance, and tries to clinch. Now, we saw what Canelo did with that against Plant, who is, in my opinion, by data, is a better defensive boxer than Jermell Charlo. Okay, so his experience with this movement is a little bit better, in my opinion. This specific movement, right? And we see him do this. And look at that front guard, push him back immediately. And there's a left hook. He threw it towards the body. He probably hit his head because he was so low. Okay, so he clinched ugly. He got ugly with the clinch. Smart man. Goes to the body and up top. Now, this little hobbly bobbly right here, I didn't like this. The reason that I didn't love it is because right? Goes to the body. He's going to go up top. Boom. And then he leans over to the left. With the right hand position right here, there's a left uppercut sitting right there for him. But he changed the position again. He comes back this way. And the left uppercut is still there the whole time. This is a very weak position with his head and his hands. Nothing like Roberto Duran. If you watch Roberto Duran, he would use his head to kind of like find different positions in his hands. He was a master of that. This is not that. It's not that. So here, and he comes back under. So he got away from the left hook from Castano, sure. But it was a very bad position. And then we watch from here, he disengages. And he closes the distance again and gets pushed out again with a front guard. Okay, close guard here. Look. And then back to the front guard, which caused a nasty scramble. And that scramble specifically, I want to talk about. Right? Let's review that real quick. Look at this. This is the scramble that we saw at the end there. So, Charlo throws the right hand and gets caught with the right hand. Look at these positions. I gotta tell you, this is so exciting. So, if you guys... Actually, I slowed it down here. I stopped it. Watch. Right. Boom. There. That is a closed guard. Even with his hand on the inside there, that's fine. He has the closed guard position. Left hand up towards the temple. Right hand here. Right? So he gets hit, but not before getting past that closed guard, which allows him... By the way, I'm sorry, Jermell Charlo's head, his head is not in the best position here, but where he goes next was worse. So you see how his hand caused him to get back down in that position? That down position is just not a good position, especially against Canelo. So he gets caught with the right hand. And then he tries to throw, and look at this. Another close guard. This time, instead with the front hand being on the temple, it's the right hand on the temple and left hand forward like this on this side of his face like this. That's also a closed guard. These are both closed guards, even though it's it can be like that, but this is specifically here. That's a closed guard right there from the opposite hand. See that? Closed guard. And then he's going to do a binding guard. So he tried to hit him over the top with the right hand. Jermell's, he's doing the windshield wiper with his head. And he tries to clinch. And when he tried to clinch, you see he's got his arms in here. Right? That's why I call it binding arms. Because your arms, it's from Wing Chun. Most of these are kind of from Wing Chun. The rattan ring is a Wing Chun tool. So this position right here, in fact, I think I have a picture of that one too. Let me see. No. Oh, that's my pictures. There it is. Binding guard. Binding guard right here, guys. This is what I am talking about. So that position is not the worst position because you can do stuff like this. Boom, right? Yeah, he didn't really hit him with that because look, you see how fast he pulled out, right? Pull out game on fleek. Anyway, he pulled his head back right before getting hit there at the end. Right before getting hit. Whew, skimmed him. But that was a close call. At the end there, I saw a very, very precarious position for Charlo. So against Castano, I didn't see him capitalize on good positions. I think that he won because he's really strong, and that's and there were some flaws from Castano's position that allowed that strength to shine. I don't think that Canelo is going to show those same flaws. As we saw, his positional awareness is like that. As soon as Plant turned him the first time, the second time he stopped him. The third time, I think he pushed him back, and the fourth time he hit him for it, and he forced him into the position himself, and he's just started immediately dominating position. So that's what I'm seeing, guys. That's what I think is going to happen. And it's not so much about prediction, so much as I'm looking at data and positions, not predictions, but positions. You know, I'm just looking at positions. If he makes the decision that night to fight like he did against Castano, then positionally there's a knockout. It's not, it's not a good position from him. Now, if he were to make a different decision, then hey, who knows what will happen. It depends on what he does that night. But that's my input on this whole subject. I want to give a huge shout out to my best friend Sam, who made, I don't know if you guys can see my monkey at the top there. He made that icon. He made a couple of other icons, like on the starting soon page, and then on my other stuff. You guys are gonna see a whole lot more of his art. He is my best friend since I was 4 years old, and I can't get enough of our story. Like, I grew up loving martial arts and doing, fighting and doing different types of martial arts, and he grew up doing art, and we both did, and we both would fight each other and do martial arts on our sleepovers and stuff like that. So we've just been best friends since, and now look at us, 25, 26 years later, and we're doing the same thing, but as adults. It's really wonderful. But Sam Chambers Art, I think, on Instagram. Give him a follow. And, of course, you guys follow me on pretty much any social media at Wukong Wilson. I'll be doing some workout streams pretty soon, and we'll just go from there. So thank you guys for watching, and let me know if you guys have any questions or comments.